Hey, Joe with 2O. We're gonna go over kind of a packing list for what I'm taking on an elk hunt out west if I'm driving. It's gonna be very different if I'm flying, but packing a little bit more for some different options. Might have different tags, and I'm gonna kind of go through that. So the pants that I'm wearing are the 2O Vistas, super light. It's hotter than hell right now, and it's gonna be hot as hell out there the first part of September throughout the midday portion. So I might put on a base layer underneath this. If it's gonna be down in the 20s and 30s at night, I've got it in here. More than likely in September, I won't be using that at all. A couple of items that are with me that might stay in the truck if I'm doing a truck camp, or if I have an antelope tag or a mule deer tag that I'm gonna be doing more driving around looking for animals, I may be wearing these items. This is one that's gonna be with me no matter what. Clement Puffy is a super lightweight insulated jacket, puffy jacket, synthetic, it dries quickly. It also folds into its own pocket, making it also my pillow. So this is coming with no matter what. The molten vest is probably gonna be one that stays in the truck that I'll use either after I kill something and I go glassing for an antelope, or if I'm sitting on an elk carcass looking for a bear, I might take this with. One of those extra add-ons to have with if I've got the space to take it and I'm not confined to a 50-pound bag flying. Gaiters are non-negotiable. They'll be in the truck for sure. More than likely, I'll be wearing them the whole time if I'm hunting in scree field or rock or any sort of steep terrain where I'm protecting my boots. Creek crossings, muddy terrain, I'm gonna have my gaiters. The only time where I wouldn't have these, and I still probably have them in my pack, is if I'm hunting pondo pine or a flat top mesa where it's just flat, hot walking, and I'm not really getting into a whole lot of crap. Then I can expel that heat a little faster without gaiters. But 90% of the time I'll have those on. Rain gear in September on an elk hunt is super hit or miss. If I'm flying, I might not even take it, but if I'm driving, I'll have it with me. Kind of same train of thought if I have an antelope tag as well. It seems like the plains and the prairie gets a lot more rain, consistent rain, than what the mountains does where I hunt. So I'll have it along. These are the ballistics, they're fantastic. Going into more merino next to skin layer stuff, 150 kinetic tee. If I'm packing into a spot where I might be 7-8 miles in and I'm not gonna be hunting elk throughout that whole duration, might have a t-shirt on, especially if it's weather like today. If it's a little bit warmer or not blazing ass sun, I'll probably just wear the 150 hoodie. This is definitely the piece that I wear the most of. I would say 95% of my September hunt, whether that's for fall bear, elk, mule deer, antelope, it's gonna be a Vista pant and a 150 hoodie 95% of the time. And then there are a couple hours in the morning, couple hours in the evening, I might be in a puffy. Another pair of Vista pants. I wouldn't take 2 pairs if I was flying, but since I'm driving, I can afford the weight. In a nutshell, that's clothing. It's pretty simple. There's a couple of things that I might add here and there. For the most part, it's gonna be a 150. I might take a 250 with me or a 200. Vinyl harness, stabilized 12s in here. Obviously rangefinder on this side, release goes up front. I'll have a knife, a headlamp, and a fire starter on this side. If I'm rifle hunting, I'll have ammo in there. Sleeping bag, I use a 20-degree slick bag. Works for pretty much any condition. I'm kind of hot-blooded by nature, so if I do get cold, I'll dive into this with a puffy. If it's super hot out, I'll just sleep on top of it. Tarp. A lot of situations I'll set up a base camp and then maybe spike out from that base camp and leave most of my gear and tent behind. Like let's say I get on an elk 3-4 miles from camp, I'm not coming back to camp that night. I'm just gonna tarp out and stay with a bull. Spotter, I almost never take this in the field when I'm elk hunting. I just don't find much of a use for a spotter looking for elk, but I do keep it in the truck. If I'm sitting at a open prairie spot or trailhead where I can see up miles into a drainage or a mountain, I'll get this out and look for the first day, or maybe after I kill a bull and start looking for a deer or bear. Game bags, pretty self-explanatory. Med kit, Aquamira, tags, extra knife blades, paracord. Food, this is a little light right now, I gotta fill it back up, but primarily a couple freeze-dried meals, jerky, dehydrated fruit, a lot of dehydrated fruit. To be honest, candy, Sour Patch Kids, Skittles, things that kind of keep you up and moving when things are down. Electrolyte packs, Snicker bars. I don't do much with like the protein bars or the super high calorie count bars because it's basically an expensive Snickers bar. Sleeping mat and inflatable bag to blow that up quickly. That's a Neolite, it's like 8 ounces. Big Agnes tent, Copper Spur 1. I think this is just under 3.5 pounds. Stakes for that. I always pack orange because 9 times out of 10 I get a bear tag too, and I'll take a rifle. If I shoot an elk, it's a very good chance that a bear is going to come to that carcass and I can sit up on him with a rifle or a bow. Crampons not needed for elk hunting. Trekking poles, big deal. I always have trekking poles for a number of different reasons. It's a support system for my tarp if I'm camping out with that. I don't care if people call them sissy sticks. If you've packed out enough elk, this is a lifesaver for your knees and your back. It's 4-wheel drive for your body. Tripod will live kind of in the same train of thought of the spotter. If I take it with, the tripod comes with. If I don't, tripod stays here, but it's always in the truck. Helinox chair. If I don't have a super long pack-in, this is under a pound, it's nice to have a camp chair, especially if you're in a more glassing intensive hunt, which typically isn't elk, but mule deer for sure, bear for sure, I'll always have this chair. Stove, I have 2 options. I don't know why they're both in here. Basically a MSR wind burner and an MSR reactor, just a little bit different size, a little different burn rate. Both are great. Have extra paracord. This is just kind of an extras pouch. I think there's some like ibuprofen and painkillers and shit in here if you hurt yourself. Rain fly. Couple of gas cans. Usually I'll just take a small one. This time of year I'm not like making a ton of coffee. It's hot out. And battery charger, extra release. That is all of the gear. And then obviously bow case, plenty of arrows, plenty of broadheads, a couple of things to make some quick fixes in the field, an Allen set, maybe some serving, and a big giant ass cooler. The only other thing to mention is a frame pack. For the most part, I run an arc frame with a holster underneath, a zip bag here. If I'm hunting in grizzly country, I'll take a 10 mil. If I'm hunting Colorado, I don't take anything. Guide lid on the top that has snacks, puffy, things that you want to get in and out of quickly. A couple of different pouches on the front. Carbon frame, pretty simple. That is it.